Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I want to refer to an article that I came across to basically start off this message. And that article is 17 Moms Reveal the Dating Advice They Wish Their Daughters Would Listen to. And I wanted to share this because I know there are many moms who have daughters as well as granddaughters. And there are, unfortunately, those individuals who are moving a little bit too quickly with their boy crushes, or these men that they're meeting through dating apps or bumping into on the way to the store or at the church or through a friend. So when you come across wise dating advice, you just can't pass it up, because God has a way of using the most unlikeliest things, people, places to send you a warning. You gotta stop. Okay, stop doing some things that are going to move you away from His will while you're losing yourself and while you're on that slow or fast track straight to hell. And I'm just going to be just as blunt in this message when it comes to spirituality, because too many people, they're so focused on the mind and the body, but they're not focused on the spiritual side of who they are. There is that being within us that long after we've gone through much, whether our minds are going through something or had been going through something, or our bodies, whether it was a bad thing or a traumatic or shocking thing, we got spirits about ourselves. And that's what propels us to make a difference in our lives as well as the lives of others. We still have a spirit within us that moves us to make better choices. We have a spirit within us that motivates us to get up every morning, even though just the other night you went through something that hurt your feelings. Yes, we are not just about that mind and body, but spirit too. And to ignore it is foolish. So there was only one piece of advice that stood out above all. And the reason why is because I remember going through some things that this woman was cautioning. Okay. I told you guys about that nice girl and that strong woman. And the very things that this woman warns in this article are the very things that nice girls fall into all the time. And if you don't want to be that one that's played later on, that's just another notch on that boy or man's belt, if you don't want to be the one that's used and abused, if you don't want to be yet another one with a testimony about how you survived some type of violent act, then you're going to take heed to what this woman says. Her name is Mara O. from New Paltz, New York. And out of all 17 of these quotes, this one stood out the most. Do not allow him, that boy, boyfriend, male friend, soon to be husband, or your current husband. Do not allow him to consume you. If he does not call, go to sleep. If he does not message, put your phone away and have a fantastic day anyway. If he acts distant when you are with him and refuses to tell you what is wrong, don't wait for him. Go home and do something you love. If he tries to insinuate you do not need your friends, now that you have him, spend more time with your friends. If he tries to teach you a lesson through the silent treatment, ignore him completely. If he plays with your feelings constantly, walk away from him. If he acts like your body is his entitlement when you are not ready, walk away from him. If he says terrible, unforgivable things and threatens to leave you after every argument, walk away from him. If he forbids you from doing anything you love, walk away from him. If he claims ownership of your accomplishments, walk away from him. If he demeans you or disrespects your being a girl and refuses to stop when you tell him it hurts, walk away from him. I cannot stress this enough. You live for yourself first. He is a secondary character in the story of your life. Do not allow him to turn you into a secondary character in your own book. That's Mara O from New Paltz, New York, who stated that, who wrote it. Come on now. That's a sermon all by itself. Lord Jesus, where were people like this, when we were going through the storms? Oh, where were those wise counselors? They may have said one statement here and then went on about their business, and we were supposed to catch hold of that. But yet their life didn't look like what Mara's saying. That's why we went on and we did what we did. Why did she go out with that boy after I told her I didn't want her to go? Why is she sitting up there sneaking and lying? Why is she? Because, Mama, your life didn't look like what you were saying to me. You see? You can expose yourself in such a way, and I'm sure Mara, in all of what she was saying, was exposing herself in such a way without saying I. You can tell that daughter, granddaughter, niece, spiritual daughter, the neighbor down the street, you can tell them some things without putting all your business out there. You can say things that are focused on that boy or that man. Let's break Mara's message down, shall we? Do not allow him to consume you. Too many females, and I have had those friends who suddenly abandon everything and everyone because that man has showed up in her life and she's consumed by everything that he says and everything that he does. She forgets to call you back. She forgets that we have an appointment. She forgets that God is even around. She prayed to God for him and then he shows up and now suddenly she don't have time to go to the church. She don't have time to open up her word. She's consumed by him. He takes on every thought, every emotion. She can't open up her mouth without talking about that man. You see, Mara warns, do not allow him to consume you. You see, if we look at this from a spiritual perspective, God, he wants to be first and foremost. He is not the kind of God that takes too kindly to people idolizing people. He has a way of taking people out of our lives when we do that sort of thing. Oh, so you want to be consumed by him, huh? You want to think everything about him. Oh, he's like a god to you. Do not allow him to consume you. Her next piece of advice, if he does not call, go to sleep. How many girls, immature women, sit up all hours of the night waiting for a man to give them a call, or just send me a text, just send me a smoke signal, drive by the house with a note or something. Just let me know that you're all right. Let me know that we're okay after I told you, no, I don't want to have sex. Oh, I guess he's not going to call. But then he told me he was going to call. But then did he say he was going to call me today or tonight or maybe tomorrow? Oh, yes. I know some men listening to this message. Wow, we got some odd women in this world. Yes. Don't tell that woman that you're going to call and then you don't, because she may have lost some sleep waiting on your call, depending on what kind of hold you got on her. But Mara says, if he does not call, go to sleep. Lord Jesus. I personally say, from a spiritual perspective, why don't you just trust in the Lord? If he's not calling, maybe it's for good reason. Maybe he's not the one. Maybe he's so consumed with so many other people, places, and things that you're on the bottom of the totem pole. I mean, if a man gonna say he gonna call, if he's a real man, he's gonna step up to the plate and he gonna call. Or he gonna send a text and say, well, I can't call you right now, but I just want to let you know I was thinking about you. So he didn't call. Maybe he got into a car accident or whatever, but we can maybe and wonder and all of that. But you need your sleep, because some folks don't operate well when they don't get their sleep, worrying about people, worrying about places and things. And it says a whole lot about you when you can't go to sleep because you're too busy thinking about that man who has yet to call you. What about what Morris says? If he does not message, put your phone away and have a fantastic day anyway. So maybe he's not going to pick up the phone and call you, but he promised to text you and he didn't do that. I mean, he's doing whatever, right? We can make some excuses for him, but how about if he repeatedly does this sort of thing? That's not very polite, is it? It's not very respectful. There's too many fish in the sea to have to wait around for somebody who don't know how to text somebody. I mean, once again, God, we have a way of praying about certain things. And God says, well, look at the little things. Before you go wanting to take your clothes off and sleep with him, look at the little things. Does he call you? Does he text you? It might be another woman. It might be. He might be consumed with his children and his wife. Oh, yes, we got those out there, too. If he acts distant when you are with him and refuses to tell you what is wrong, don't wait for him. Go home and do something you love. You see, there's men who can't stand when women just don't speak up about what's wrong, right? Well, there's women who can't stand when men do the same thing. What's wrong? Everything's good. The way his face looks, it doesn't look like it. I mean, you want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk about it. I don't talk about what goes on at work. I don't talk about what goes on with my family. I don't talk about what's on my mind. I don't talk about what God spoke to me about. I don't talk about my dreams. He don't talk about too much of anything. I ain't got time to wait on this man. I don't have time to be sitting up here nitpicking and trying to figure out what's going on. I don't have time to sit up there and hold up my day trying to figure out once again what's eating at him. Oh, I'm going home. I got some other things to do. Some of you live with people like this, so you go into the next room. Go tend to your projects. Do something that you enjoy. If he wants to talk, if it's really that bad, he'll come around sooner or later. If he tries to insinuate you do not need your friends now that you have him, spend more time with your friends. You see, that's a test in and of itself. If I can spend time with my friends without that man saying, oh, you spend so much time with your friends. Oh, this new person's coming to your life. You got more time for her than you do me, and blah, 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 blah. That says a whole lot about the type of person you're with. He's controlling. OK, I know you love him. I know you like him. I know you've been with him for maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 some years. But that's a controlling individual. And there's a lot of women, both immature as well as mature, who get sucked into this. Now that the man's in my life, I don't need any friends. No, you do need some friends, because what you going to do? Sit up there when you're frustrated, upset, and bitter about whatever's going on related to a woman's issue? You're going to talk to him about it? He only going to upset you because he's not a woman. He can't understand what you're going through. That's why some women get into the silly little disputes that they get into with these men, because they don't have any friends. And you trying to turn a man into a woman. Okay, God made Adam. He didn't say, Adam, I need you to every now and again turn into Eve. So I'm going to create you in such a way where you're going to know everything and understand everything about Eve, and everything's going to be happy-go-lucky. I mean, once sin came along, it wasn't happy-go-lucky, was it? Man still had a mind. Woman still had a mind. Lord Jesus. And then they had their family. And then as time goes on, right, your relationship, it expands, doesn't it? You can get some benefit from having friends, you know. Especially when that man fails you, cheats on you, lies, steals, connives, says he's no longer interested in you, got his heart, his mind, and everything else somewhere else. I need my friends. I'm not abandoning my friends. Matter of fact, he don't even know all my friends. And I'm in a marriage right now. He don't know all my friends. I never felt like it was necessary for my husband to know everybody. No more than he thought it was necessary for me to know everybody. You see, after you've been married a couple times, right, you realize some things. For me, I was married once and then I got married a second time. And the men that I've been involved with, they've been married more than once by the time I come along. So they learned a lot from those last relationships. And one thing that they don't give up is their friends. If he tries to teach you a lesson through the silent treatment, ignore him completely. And you got some who will do that. They've already been through all the arguments. They know arguments, they usually don't produce anything but more arguments. So silent treatment comes along. So you want to play the silent game, huh? I don't know you. I'm going about my business. Excellent piece of advice from Miss Mara. If he plays with your feelings constantly, walk away from him. Playing with your feelings. Today he loves you. Tomorrow he doesn't. Today he's telling you how much he cares for you. And you're all sucked into that. And then the next thing you know, he's acting very uncaring. I mean, do you really want to be in a roller coaster ride of emotions with a man like that? Walk away from him. If he acts like your body is his entitlement when you are not ready, you know, you agreed to be my girlfriend. You agreed to be my wife. I expect you to do this and do that. Well, my body's not up to that. I don't care what you said about your body and anything else. I want this and I want that. And you know, some women barely healed up after going through whatever, and they ready to go ahead and do it with this guy, whatever doing it is. Okay? Because I'm trying to keep this family friendly. And this man keeps coming at the wrong time, asking for the wrong things, not willing to help you with too much of anything. You're supposed to walk away from that controlling individual who feels like your body is his entitlement. If he says terrible, unforgivable things and threatens to leave you after every argument, you know there's something psychologically wrong with him. It's time to go. It's time to go. Every time I turn around and I tell you no about something, because usually no, let's say in the case of him wanting you to do something intimately with him and you say no. And then you all get into some argument about something else and he's blowing it up. Oh, he's really angry. And it all goes back to the fact that you said no because you didn't want to do something with him because you weren't comfortable doing whatever, right? And every time you turn around, there's always some attitude. Okay, it's time to go. I don't want to be involved in this relationship. And some people are in marriages, so it's not that easy. So there's separation that takes place. You can go in another room. You can go and stay with so-and-so. You can go and look for alternative arrangements where you can have peace and quiet in your own little condo somewhere on the money that he said was his and you said was ours. Thank you very much, but this is for pain and suffering. Years and years of this foolishness. And I'm so done. It's never too late. God gives us a way out of all sorts of situations, including relationships that are toxic. If he forbids you from doing anything you love, walk away from him. I love to go here and I love to do this. And this is one of my favorite hobbies. Well, your hobby costs too much and don't expect me to be a part of that. And why are you doing that anyway? I mean, it takes too much time, doesn't it? And you're not there for me like you once were ever since this came along and whatever that thing is that you decided to get involved with. Okay? Whatever hobby you truly enjoy. You don't give your hobbies up. You don't give up your dreams because somebody says that no, it's an inconvenience, and no, we don't have the money, and no, we did this, that, and the other. You figure out a way to get what you enjoy. Done. Start it. Stick with it. If he claims ownership of your accomplishments, walk away from him. Now that type of person is a selfish person, a prideful person, and 9 times out of 10, he's a narcissist because he wants to take on, Lord Jesus, he wants to take on everything that you got involved with. He says, we did this. Meanwhile, you know, he wasn't a part of that. He's the type of individual that says, oh, I did this. Meanwhile, you know, you picked up the phone. You know, you were the one who pushed this through, did that and did this. He says, I'm always buying or I'm always doing. Okay. Meanwhile, he overlooks the fact that how much money did you spend on this and how much money did you spend on that? And if it wasn't for you, he wouldn't have what he got. And he talks about how much money he spends, but what about how much money you saved him? Not for days and weeks, but how about for months and years for some of you all? And I get into this and when mothers cry because of all the roles that mothers take on. And some men, they're not going to give you credit for anything. They're going to always say I and my, and this is what I did. Walk away from him. If he claims ownership, no, we already said that. Next, if he demeans you or disrespects your being a girl and refuses to stop when you tell him it hurts, walk away from him. Whether you're a girl, whether you're a woman, any man who is disrespectful or a boy who's disrespectful towards you, he got to go. Because see, men like that or boys like that, if your uncles or your daddy or somebody who's male in your family catches wind of how that man is hurting you, or boy, you might end up being the one that they go to jail over. And do you really want that for your loved ones? If he demeans you or disrespects your being a girl or a woman and refuses to stop when you tell him it hurts, walk away from him. Men are smarter, men are stronger, men are this and men are that. And it's expected that a girl is supposed to do this for a boy. And yes, you as a woman are supposed to do this if you want to be able to move up in society. Wait a minute, huh? Excuse me? Time to go. He's showing his sexism. And she says, I cannot stress this enough. You live. This is Mara speaking. I cannot stress this enough. You live for yourself first. You live for yourself first. You got God in your life. God going to show you how to live for yourself first. Because I can hear somebody in the spiritual realm right now saying, I don't know how to live for myself after you done broke this all down. You can start by taking those baby steps. You look in the mirror and you decorate your face in the way that you want to decorate it. And if you don't want to decorate it, then you don't decorate it. And if he says that, what's up with you? And how come you're not putting this makeup on and whatever else? Because that's his request. Or maybe it's his request that you don't wear anything. You do the total opposite. You do what you want to do. You don't control what I put on my face. You don't control what I put on my body. Why are you wearing that shirt? Just because he asked? You must look pretty good in it. Why is it that you are going over there? What, I'm not allowed to go and visit my friends? I didn't know that you were my daddy. I mean, I'm not trying to be your daddy. I'm just saying, you don't need to tell me what to do. This is where I'm going. And you can go and sit and do whatever you do. This is my life. You see. Oh, we got some people that they find all sorts of ways to manipulate. They found all sorts of ways to exercise power and control. They're secretly jealous. They're bitter. They're unforgiving. They're rude. They're arrogant. And 9 times out of 10, if you know this or just discovering this about your partner, his family already knew. So it's no breaking news, even though they may talk positive about him or what have you. But they know. Somebody knows. The exes, that's why they're exes, because they knew. The problem that many girls as well as women have when it comes to these relationships is They falsely assume that there's something so special about them compared to all those other women that got burned before they showed up in that man's life. And the truth of the matter is that they get burned worse. They get burned worse in a slick, clever way, in a way that doesn't feel so bad. But they're still getting burned, because when a man refuses to change who he is, he gonna remain the same with everybody. He may do some things a little bit different, but that core being of who he is, what God has showed you that man to be during those disputes, during the times when you said no, during those moments of frustration and just backbiting and lying and whatever else that took place. When he showed you who that man was, you were supposed to walk away then. Because God, he will use us, children of light, to expose darkness, including intimate partners. He doesn't skip over intimate partners and just talk about relatives and people at work and people at the church and people in the neighborhood. No, he shows you who you're living with. And when he shows you who you're living with, you have a choice to make necessary arrangements to get free of that toxic situation that you're in, to live in it, and ask God to give you the strength, depending on what you can be able to tolerate and what your current situation is, because we all know some folks cannot up and just leave right now. So he can give you the strength to endure until that time comes. And sometimes it's not you leaving. A lot of times we're always talking about, you need to leave, woman, because you don't need to put up with this and you don't need to put up with that, or you need to break up with him. A lot of times, God will set it up so that man breaks up with us, or that man walks out, or that man cheats, or that man ends up losing something that's very valuable to him. And so now he is at our mercy, or he's been humbled by a situation, you see, or he realizes that he has been so rude and so mean and so disrespectful, and so he changes his ways. That happens to those who are conscious, those who have feeling, right? Those who are remorseful. But that sort of thing don't happen with the unremorseful. And if you haven't checked out the audio, do check that out. That doesn't happen with the unremorseful, men who just are heartless, who are cold. They're going to keep on doing whatever you allow them to do, you see. And they're not going to cry genuine tears. They may fake some cries, or they might just look at you with a poker face. But men who are heartless, they don't care about how you make them feel. They don't care about the fact that they're using silent treatment, the fact that they don't call. I mean, if a man is violating all these different things that we talked about today, it's safe to say he is not a good man. Doesn't matter what he told you, it doesn't matter what his family told you. You go down that checklist. If you find yourself being so consumed by him, running errands, doing things for him, spending money that you know that you can't afford to get him up out of his foolishness, okay, because he made the wrong mistakes. And we got plenty of men who do this sort of thing. Men who gamble but won't tell you that they spent their money trying to win on various lotteries, bingos, what have you. Men who borrow money from people and from companies, and then they owe them money and now they're trying to dig their way out of it. Men who have these gifts that they send off to people knowing they can't afford them, okay, but they do it to showboat. Men who will lie or cover up about all sorts of things related to money that weren't mentioned. But whatever they're up to, they will look for the woman to help them out because, well, you're my woman. And besides, I did all these things for you. But this is why you've got to trust in the Lord. You got to pray. Wait a minute, Lord. This man has come to me repeatedly, or maybe he hasn't come to you, but the drama has showed up at your doorstep, or showed up in the mail, or showed up over the internet. Okay. Or showed up through a third party source, somebody who he least expected coming to tell you some things. And now he wants you to be empathetic, sympathetic. He wants you to step up to the plate. No, you go to the Lord. Lord, am I supposed to be helping him out of this? The Lord, surprisingly, when a man continues to mess up and mess over his family, surprisingly, no, you're not supposed to be running to his rescue. But I'm his wife. It doesn't matter. That's why there's a lot of wives that end up being broke, because they're always running to somebody's rescue. He says he's going to do something for the kids. He doesn't do it. Then you step it up. And then when you step it up, now you're set back. And God speaks to you and he says, okay, you learned your lesson. You're not going to do this again, are you? And nope, because you get tired of being broke, busted, and disgusted. So this wisdom today, this was powerful. Like I said, that article had 17 different women talking about the dating advice that they wish their daughters would listen to. I mean, there's some things in that article, like it's okay to be single and don't rush anything and never rush into marriage and hold on to who you are independently. But I think we covered the bulk of it today. You don't do anything that you don't want to do, and you make that man wait, whether you're in a marriage or out of a marriage. Okay? Whether you've never been married, you make that man wait for anything. You don't rush because he says jump and then you turn around and say how high. Excuse me? So I thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. May God richly bless you as well as those that you love. And I pray that someone will take heed to this advice. And if you haven't checked the description box, check out Too Much Too Soon, Internet Dating Blues. If you are currently single or are divorced but looking for new love. And if you are currently in a relationship but you recognize some of these abusive types of things that a man is doing to you, you might want to check out Socially Sweet, Privately Cruel, Abusive Men. If you are younger and you are dating and you have been experiencing your share of violence in a relationship, you can check out Laboring to Love an Abusive Mate, the book, as well as the blog. And I pray that individuals will get up out of these toxic relationships in Jesus' mighty name. I pray that this will be the year that they will get up out of these toxic relationships, because too many women are ending up 6 feet deep or in jail behind these men who systematically mess over them. Well, if you haven't given, we do welcome donations on this channel. And once again, blessings to you, and to God be the glory.